You know, sometimes there's players that I really don't have any interest in, but then a news report comes out in June and this player's stock tanks. And sometimes it's warranted. Sometimes a specific player's on a team. The player gets hurt. The coach says he's not going to be involved. Whatever it might be, gets buried on the depth, whatever it might be. He's not talented anymore. He's 34 years old, right? AJ Green now on the Cardinals. Like, it's not the same AJ Green. That's not who we're talking about today, but I see this and then I start to look at where this player is going and sort of the trend on the ADP after the news report, after the NFL draft, where this team drafted another wide receiver to enter the locker room after drafting this player last year in the second round. You might be starting to pick up with where I'm going. This was a player being taken right around wide receiver 55, wide receiver 60. As I record this today, he's being taken at wide receiver 80. His ADP overall, around 180th, the 15th round, the first pick in the 15th round. And I assume by the time I actually release this, a couple days, maybe a week, that it's only going to continue to go down because there's no positive news coming out. We'd have to see something positive in the preseason for it to go the other way. So what do I call that? I mean, I call that a buy low. A lot of you might only have 16 rounds in your NFL draft. He could be the last player that you take, and you can just cut bait with him. So this is not somebody that I was really interested in until this news report came out. And what that report said was Denzel Mims is running with the second unit in Jets camp in June. So what does this mean? Well, Corey Davis, they signed. They gave decent money to. Corey Davis is out there. And Corey Davis was great. Top 5 in yards per route run last year. I mean, top 5 up there with A.J. Brown and his own former team, right? Up there with Julio Jones. Up there with, Devontae Adams, right? He's up there in that range. So fantastic. He was great last year. The only year he's been great. So we'll see if that continues now when he's not in this highly efficient pass action, play action offense with a great running back, an efficient quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and a dominating receiver on the opposite side, and A.J. Brown, where now he doesn't have maybe any of those things, likely none of those things in New York. So that makes sense, the reports that Corey Davis is running with the first team. Of course, they paid him money. He was maybe the hottest name on the free agency or one of the hottest names out there, especially what he did last year. So who else is there? Well, they signed Keelan Cole. He's been on the Jags. He's been fine. They gave him like $5 million. Okay. So this organization is bringing in some receivers. Then they go get Elijah Moore in the draft in the second round. And Elijah Moore is a very exciting rookie wide receiver. And I admit, I think this guy's going to play a lot this year. I think this guy is going to be fantastic this year. Elijah Moore looks good. We probably will have our own video on him in terms of the best rookies to own this year outside of the obvious Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, Jamar Chase type names. Do yourself a favor, check out that one. It'll be pinned up and at the end of the video in the 2021 Fantasy Football playlist. You can see all the videos there. So I get it. There's Jamison Crowder, who they made take a pay cut. Otherwise, they said, hey, this isn't going to work. And Crowder happily said at age 27, I'll take a pay cut. And then there's Denzel Mims. So there's 5 receivers here, 3 wide receiver sets. They'll go 4 wide receiver sets at times is what they're hinting at. And they're saying Denzel Mims is running with the second team. Okay, this kind of makes some sense to me, right? I mean, even if it's just for a week at camp, Corey Davis and Crowder probably going to be running with the first. And the report also stated Keelan Cole was running with the first team. I don't buy that over Crowder, who's been highly effective and efficient the last 2 years. Nothing really down for him outside of getting banged up last year. So Corey Davis and Crowder running with the ones, okay, fine. Crowder missed some practices in his own right because he was negotiating his contract, which let Keelan Cole jump in and start there. So there's some context that needs to be added here. Keelan Cole's not going to be with the first unit. He's not going to be a top 3 receiver out of these 5. He's at the bottom of that list. Keelan Cole will be behind Denzel Mims, right? So what do you have on the outside? You have Corey Davis on the outside, and then you might have Elijah Moore on the outside. But you see, this is the part that doesn't connect with me. We know Keelan Cole is not going to be in that top 3. So now there's 4 receivers to fill the 3 wide receiver spots. Corey Davis is an obvious outside weapon. He'll be on the outside. Crowder's been a slot guy. Elijah Moore is a slot guy. Denzel Mims is an outside player who can move into the slot. He's versatile, but mainly an outside player. So who's going to play on the other outside if you're telling me it's not Denzel Mims? It's not going to be Crowder, and now you're telling me it's Elijah Moore? I don't know if people actually understand the context here. He played 4 snaps in 2020 on the outside. 99.7% of Elijah Moore's snaps in 2020, which was a lot of overall snaps. I mean, the guy had 102 total targets. He was out there a lot, 1,200 total yards in his final year at Ole Miss. 99.7% were in the slot. I don't think you come to the NFL now and take on outside NFL cornerbacks who are normally the better cornerbacks. I think Elijah Moore will be in the slot, and if anybody's going to be compensating or losing their touches, it's going to be Crowder to an Elijah Moore. So when I see this report out there of Denzel Mims is running with the 2s, okay, so it means that they want to test out in camp in June, where you just test some things out, their rookie wide receiver and look how he sees and look how he is on the outside. That's what they're doing. They're trying to see, can Keelan Cole or Elijah Moore play the outside for us? Because we know we have Corey Davis, and in my opinion, they know they have Denzel Mims out there. So I don't get the Denzel Mims. I mean, they took him in the second round last year in Baylor. This was a guy who last year started the season off with a hamstring injury. Oh, maybe the worst injury outside of a high ankle sprain for a wide receiver to deal with. 6 games he missed with that. It definitely lingered more than that. So he played in 9 full games last year. And in doing so, he played the 20th most snaps in the league for a wide receiver in terms of his overall percentage, 87%. He caught 23 passes on 45 targets in those games, so around 4 per game. He was fine. He only didn't score any touchdowns, but the whole entire offense, the entire year, only scored 16, and he wasn't out there for 6 of the games. So it's not like he had many opportunities in this pitiful Jets offense, if you recall. His average target distance was 12th in the NFL. His average yards per reception, meaning he was getting targeted downfield, and now Zach Wilson with a fantastic, fabulous arm is what they rave about, is going to be that guy throwing it to him downfield. The beautiful deep ball is what they're saying it in quotes in New York. Oh, in terms of his yards per reception last year, he was 15th in the NFL. He had more deep targets per game than Mike Evans. His concerns coming out of college were that he was dropping the ball. Last year, he had an 88.5% true catch rate, top 30 in the NFL on his targets. Not bad. And here's another stat to actually look at. Only 26 of his 45 targets were catchable, thanks to the inaccurate, now in Carolina, in Charlotte, Sam Darnold. So this guy really wasn't even getting opportunities when he was actually out there. He was probably banged up for most of the season with that hamstring because it lingers for usually 2 to 3 months, and he only sat out a month and a half in his rookie season. So this is a player who came out of college, if you look at playerprofiler.com, 95th percentile speed score, 95th percentile 40-yard dash, 95th percentile catch radius. This is a supreme athlete who succeeded at Baylor with bad quarterback play, who in the NFL was getting by cornerbacks and getting targeted deep downfield, and now people just think he's done. He's just done. I get it. It's a new regime in New York. It's not the same old, right? It's a totally different head coach. They didn't draft Denzel Mims. They drafted Elijah Moore. They brought in Corey Davis. They reworked the contract of Crowder. They brought in Keelan Cole. So I get it. He's kind of the odd man out who's sitting there with draft capital, right? Sitting there with draft capital, only a half a year under his belt in a weird COVID year as well. He's the odd man out who this organization doesn't actually want. Didn't actually do something financially on the business side of football to keep at their side. So I get that part of the narrative, and there's something to that. I'm just trying to weed through this one report that's dropping him 20 to 30 spots in wide receiver rankings. That's dropping him from a 12th and 13th round pick to a 15th and a 16th round pick. All I'm saying here is take him in the 15th or 16th round, depending on when this video releases and where he will be. Because Denzel Mims is not the 5th wide receiver on the Jets. That's Keelan Cole. And in my opinion, he's a starting outside receiver, and Elijah Moore and Jamison Crowder are the guys in the slot that are battling for more playing time. So thank you for tuning into this video about Denzel Mims, who's a value right now, a sleeper, call him whatever you want to call him. If you want to get access to all of my rankings, all the player profiles, key stats, top 100s, tiers, everything you need to dominate your draft, it's in the Supreme Draft Guide, which is out right now. In a limited time offer, it will be free. You can check that out, link down below on how to get that free as an add-on bonus. Thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe before you go, and I'll see you all in the next one. Enjoy your day.